It used to be when I said I was from Santa Rosa, I'd have to qualify that. I'd have to say, wine country, about an hour north of San Francisco, the home of Guy Fieri, David Mark, Charles Schultz. At the moment, everybody knows where Santa Rosa is. We just suffered a national emergency. And I don't know how I feel about my town being known for a tragedy. It is a tragedy. Today is Sunday, and it's been 6 days, 7, I suppose, since this whole thing broke out. And it's not over. There's still fires burning in Santa Rosa, inside Sonoma County, inside Napa County, inside Mendocino County, and all over the state. But here it's really bad. It came through Sunday night when everyone was sleeping, and it came down through the hills, and it ravaged neighborhoods, and it decimated homes. And you've probably seen the footage. And honestly, I don't want to share any of that. If you need to see it, it's on the news stations, it's online. There's pictures from all over the city of devastation and loss. And it's so hard because it's blocks from me. It's blocks from me. And yet, I'm unaffected. Really. We are in an area of town that didn't get hit by the fire. Sunday night, police and local firefighters were knocking on doors, sheriff's department going through neighborhoods, evacuating people. There are harrowing tales of near misses, deputies trapped in fields surrounded by fire, people surviving in swimming pools, people barely getting a couple of minutes before having to evacuate their house and never being able to come back. And many of my friends were in areas that were evacuated. Most of my immediate friends' houses are also safe. In only 1 week, I know dozens of homeless people. To suddenly be confronted with the fact that everybody in Santa Rosa knows people who have lost homes. I think the last report was 2,400 homes in Santa Rosa are gone. And it's not done. It's still not over yet. I can't say anything but good things about the emergency responders. Amazing. The amazing stories from the emergency responders, risking their lives while their own homes, in many cases, were not only in jeopardy, but gone, just burned away. The local fire department, the local sheriff's department, the local police department, and now we've got police officers from all over the state, deputies, we've got CHP officers, National Guard is here. It's hard to even fathom it. This isn't what my channel is about, but I just couldn't put out another video pretending like none of this happened. I couldn't just be like, here's another goofy project from Peter Brown in the midst of this tragedy in my city. I had to take a breath and just let you all know that I am safe. My family is safe, but my city is torn apart. It is like walking through, it's like post-apocalyptic. It's post-apocalyptic out there. It's absolutely bizarre. On Monday morning, we did what probably most of the people did who still were in their homes. We watched the news, we listened to the radio, we checked the internet, and we watched the progress of the fire. It was a hard day to keep my kids distracted and not thinking about it, as my wife and I checked our updates on an hourly basis, waiting to see if it would roll towards us. And it didn't. And Tuesday came, and it seemed like we were going to be okay. And then Tuesday afternoon, around 4 o'clock, up on the crest of the hill behind my house, you could see a line of fire burning. We packed up a couple of bags, we got the kids, the pets in the car, and we got on the road, and we sat on the road with our entire neighborhood, and it took us 30 minutes to leave our subdivision. And it was just this slow crawl through these streets, watching people getting in their cars, running back and forth to the house, packing up their belongings, people standing up on top of roofs, hosing down their house. is surreal. I checked in with my office, I checked in with my coworkers. There are many of my coworkers who are homeless now, who have no place to go home to, and everything they own is just gone. Within hours of a tragedy, we had shelters up and running. 5,000 Santa Rosa residents were able to evacuate to shelters where they had food, where they had water. It was amazing. The Red Cross has been here and mobilized, outreach throughout the community, churches opening up their doors, community centers opening up their doors. We had family on the west side of town, and so that's where we went to. And I stayed with my wife's parents, and we slept on their couches for Tuesday night and Wednesday night. And by Thursday night, the fire had receded from the ridge. The firefighters had pushed it back. CAL FIRE had come in with these giant planes full of retardant and water, and they took bulldozers and created a fire break, and it's just amazing. These people that were on the front lines fighting the fire, some reports for them 36 hours at a time standing on the front lines fighting the fire. Well, I sat in my house with power and hot water and internet. They told us to stay off the roadways, but lots of people disregarded that. People were flying drones around, and they were saying that they couldn't drop fire retardant because there was drones in the area, and they couldn't fly in that area with a drone. But people wanted pictures of the devastation. They needed those pictures of the devastation. So they launched their drones and took pictures of it. They were driving through neighborhoods they weren't supposed to be, so that they could get pictures of how devastating it was, and they could tell everyone, look how devastating this is. And I don't understand what the motivation is for that. That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't contribute at all to anything. I've got a high-def camera, I've got a drone, but I didn't want to feed on a tragedy. It just seems predatory to me. If another area needed to be evacuated, they needed to be able to easily do so, and with all of us on the road taking pictures and videos, it was impeding that. And that's just, it's too bad. The police started arresting looters, but it wasn't widespread from what I heard. It was pretty minimal. And they did a great job of keeping that at bay. And there was a curfew in town. We had a curfew. You weren't allowed to go into certain areas at night. And on Wednesday, I actually went to work, and I drove into my office like I normally do. And on either side of the freeway, it was just, the town was just missing. It was just gone. My family moved to Sonoma County when I was 10. I've been here for 30 years. And things were just gone. It was just leveled, blackened trees, and no houses. It's just bizarre. Everyone wants to know what to do. Everyone wants to feel useful. They want to feel like they can do something. And an emergency like this, it takes away your power. It removes your power. And there's nothing you can do to stop a fire. We have firefighters, and we have emergency crews, and they are trained for that, and that is their job. And my best course of action was to stay out of their way and to let them do their job. And it was so hard not to want to stop that, to stand on my roof and hose it down. But if we all hose down our roofs, then the water pressure in town diminishes. And then they can't fight a fire where it actually is. And so now my town is known for a national tragedy. And I imagine that will be so for a while. This is, from what I hear, the worst fire that has ever happened in California history. I don't know if that's true, but it feels like it to me. While so many of my neighbors and friends and co-workers have lost their houses, have lost their livelihood. And tragically, there are even some that have lost their lives. And my heart goes out to them. And I just want to say that Santa Rosa will be different from now on. It will be a different city. I imagine that the landscape of my city will change. That a once desirable Fountain Grove area might not be considered the best place to build a house anymore. And we appreciate the outpouring of support from other counties, from other states, from other countries. Just wanted to say thank you to all of you who reached out to me on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I wanted you to know that I was safe. and I wanted you to know that I appreciated that support. It meant a great deal to me. And Calistoga and Napa and Sonoma are still under evacuation orders. They are pushing back the fire, they're getting containment, and I hope that within the next few days we can put this immediate danger behind us and begin focusing on rebuilding. That while my city experienced a tragedy, I don't want that tragedy to define us. And we are a strong community, and we came together in ways that I have never seen before. And having a conversation with someone on the street was totally different than it was before Sunday of last week. You would say hello, and they would say hello, and everyone was nice and cordial, but now I'm having long conversations with strangers in the store. How are you doing? Genuinely asking them how they're doing and caring about what they say. This channel will continue to have its normal fare. At some point, I will start working in the shop again. I've actually got a couple of videos that I was going to scrap, and maybe I'll just release those. So once again, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for all of your support during this horrific tragedy, and I want you to know that we are here and we are strong, and Santa Rosa will rebuild.